Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, clear.
Is it moving?
Yes, smooth.
Okay. Now let us look at towards little history that what happened this year during 2023 monsoon season. On the left hand side diagram, it is the advance of southwest monsoon 2023, and on the right hand side it is the withdrawal of southwest monsoon 2023. If we recollect, yes, southwest monsoon set in over Kerala on 8th June, about 7 days late as compared to the normal date of 1st June. But thereafter it started moving, and the onset took place in association with the cyclone Mrutyunjay. But afterwards, the cyclone Mrutyunjay got disconnected and moved towards northern latitude, Gujarat. The advance became sluggish, and therefore peninsular India advance was slow. And finally, it could pick up after the dissipation of the system on 19th June. And from 19th June, there was rapid progress covering maximum parts of peninsular India, eastern India, central India. And by 2nd July, it covered the entire country against the normal date of 8th July. So therefore, while there was late onset, but it was early coverage of the entire country. But however, the onset was not so much classic. Rainfall was not so much heavy in the nature in association with the onset and advance of monsoon in the country. And as a result, the rainfall in the month of June was limited to 9% below the normal. The withdrawal this year started on 25th of September, and usually withdrawal starts from southwest Rajasthan on 17th September as per the revised date of withdrawal introduced by IMD 3 years back. And today it is further withdrawn from many parts of northwest India, and conditions are also becoming favorable for withdrawal of monsoon from more parts of northwest India and adjoining central India during the next 2 to 3 days. Let me tell you that by 15 October, the monsoon withdraws from most parts of the country, and simultaneously the northeast monsoon sets in over the region, especially the southeast peninsula. Now, let us look at what happened to the rainfall. On the left-hand side, it is the rainfall date-wise variation from 1st June to 30th September. As you can see that the rainfall showed almost 2 different peaks, one in the month of July and another in the month of September. In the month of June, it was less than normal, and in the month of August especially, it was severely less than normal, being 36% below the long period average in the month of August. And it was associated with one of the longest break days in this month. And another factor which resulted in this deficient rainfall in June and August was very less formation of the low pressure systems and their prevalence over the Indian region. Now, if I look at the central part of the country, which is called as the monsoon core zone, you will see that it was similar to that of the all India rainfall activity. The red bar indicates the below normal rainfall activity at least by 1 standard deviation, and the green one indicates the above normal rainfall activity at least by 1 standard deviations. So what you find that actually in the month of July, there were many days when it was above normal. The month of September, when it was also above normal on many days. But in the month of August, especially, you can see the red bars, the frequency of red bars, it will started from 6th August onwards and continued till about 3rd September or 2nd September. So that is the reason why August was so highly deficient. But however, the entire country, if you consider, the entire country rainfall has been, it is 5.6% below the long period average. That means it is 94.4% as on date. And if you look at the distribution over the country, you will find that many districts were with green or blue colors. That means most of the districts we could get as normal or above normal rainfall activity. But deficient states were also concentrated in a particular area, like eastern India, covering East UP, Bihar, Jharkhand, and against the West Bengal. Another area, that is the south-west peninsula, I would say, that is Kerala and adjacent districts of Karnataka, mainly, were having the deficient rainfall. And similarly, the third pocket was the northeast India, where rainfall was also deficient. So if I just look at now the subdivisional map, you will find that out of 36 meteorological subdivisions, we have 7 subdivisions which had the deficient rainfall activity. And this deficiency was about 20 to 30% over East UP, Bihar, Jharkhand, against West Bengal, and Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, and Tripura. Similarly, it was over South Interior Karnataka, or also it was about 27%. And Kerala was the most deficient. It was about 36% exactly. Okay, so Kerala was the most efficient among all these 7 meteorological subdivisions. Now, considering the subdivisional area, it was 18% which had the deficient rainfall, and we have got the remaining area with normal to excess rainfall activity. So therefore, even if it was rainfall was less by 5.6% compared to long period average, and it comes under category of just below normal, because normal starts with 96% and above. And so distribution was quite good as compared to last year. Now let us look at the country as a whole, rainfall in different months and the season as a whole, and of course the different homogeneous regions. If you all remember, June was 9% below the long period average for the country as a whole. It became 13% above the long period average in July, and 36% below the long period average in August. In September, it ended up with 13% above normal. And for the country, for the season as a whole, the rainfall has been 820 millimeter against normal of 868.6 millimeter. And hence departure is minus 5.6%. Or in other words, I'll say the rainfall has been 94.4% of the long period average. Now let us look at the monthly rainfall for different homogeneous regions. You will find that if I compare June, July, August, September, and June to September, but you find that, say, country as a whole, yes, it was deficient or below normal in June and August, but became above normal in July and September. If I consider, for example, South Peninsula, it was 45% below normal in the month of June, which was most affected. At the same time, the Northwest India was a major gainer in the month of June. In the month of July, it got opposite for South Peninsula. South Peninsula got very good rainfall in July, that is 45% above the long period average. But Northeast India became 32% deficient. In the month of August, if we just look at again, the South Peninsula India got worst affected, that is 60% below the long period average. And in the month of September, again, it became positive, 24% above the long period average. In the month of September, again, the Northeast India got worst affected. So what I want to say that the peninsular India has been worst affected when you consider the month-wise variation, and this adverse effect has been in the month of June and August, and which are compensated in the month of July and September, like the country as a whole. Now, Central India, if we just look at, you will find that it was near normal in the month of June, and in the month of July, it was above normal. In the month of August, Central India got less than 47% deficient. But in the month of September, again, it was the highest rainfall activity in the Central India. Okay, now let us look at week by week progress of monsoon season. You will see that there is a very systematic variation. It started with the deficient weeks in the beginning of June, and gradually it became normal weeks and above normal weeks. And then again, it went towards the deficient weeks in the month of August. Then again, it revived in the month of September, becoming the above normal rainfall week. Now let us look at the spatial distribution of rainfall during southwest monsoon season. You can find that in the first map, that is rainfall during June, but you find that northwest India could get good rainfall activity because of the cyclone Biparjoy and the western disturbances. And the remaining parts, like northern parts of peninsula, eastern India, and northeastern states, got the deficient rainfall activity. So in the month of July, the rainfall picked up, but however, the eastern India, especially East UP, Bihar, Jharkhand, GWP, got deficient rainfall, along with Assam, Meghalaya, and Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, Tripura. So in the month of August, it became the mirror image of July. You can say the western part, which got good rainfall activity in July, got deficient rainfall activity in the August, and the eastern part got good rainfall activity in August. But for the country as a whole, it became the highest deficient rainfall activity, that is 36% below the long-term average. Again, if you consider the month of September, yes, it has been quite good rainfall activity in the month of September, except the subdivisions in northeastern states and subdivisions adjacent to Himalayas, so especially Himachal Pradesh, Haryana, Chandigarh, Delhi, and East UP, along with Assam, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, Tripura, and Arunachal Pradesh got deficient rainfall activity. Central India was the most gainer, having the excess rainfall activity in the September 2023. Now let us look at especially a little more about the daily rainfall activity in the month of September. If we just look at in the month of September, also you'll find that periodically the rainfall activity in the beginning was below normal, then it's picked up, became above normal. By the second week, then again it went down a little, but near normal. Then again it picked up in the third week, and fourth week also it continued, but towards the end of the week, it reduced and becomes slightly below normal. So what I want to say that whatever peak you are finding out, that is 1, 2, 3 peaks you are finding out, all these 3 peaks were associated with the low pressure systems. And finally, today also rainfall has picked up, and because of the 2 low pressure systems. Here, these 3 peaks, what you are finding, it is because of 3 past low pressure systems. And today rainfall has picked up, and it will continue to pick up, but in the next 2 days, it is because of the 2 low pressure systems. One is the well-marked low pressure area over North Bay of Bengal, which is moving towards North Odisha, West Bengal. Another one is a depression, which is located near South Konkan and Goa coast. And by today evening or night, it will hit the coast and go inside and become weaker gradually. So what I want to say that low pressure systems dominated the activity in September, like that in July. Now let us look at all India Southwest monsoon rainfall 2023 vis-a-vis El Nino and La Nina years. If you just look at El Nino and La Nina years, this red one is the El Nino and the blue one are the La Nina years. Green one are the neutral years. So what you find in general, you get below normal rainfall activity, but it is not the case that all the years having El Nino should have the below normal rainfall activity. There are certain years where it was above normal rainfall activity. And this year, if you just look at all the years, if I compare, this year actually we are, even though it was El Nino year, rainfall activity has not been so much affected by the El Nino. If I just compare on all the red bars on the negative side, if I just compare since 1901, the negativity was minimum this year. Okay, so that's what I want to say, that El Nino was countered by various other factors, and hence we could get the 94.4% of the long-term average rainfall for the country as a whole. Now let us look at the composites of El Nino years. On the left-hand side is a rainfall anomaly composite during southwest monsoon season for the past El Nino years. On the right-hand side is the rainfall anomaly composite for the southwest monsoon season for the past positive IOD years. So what you find that usually if you look at the composite, you will get deficient rainfall in most parts of the country, except northern parts like Jammu and Kashmir and northeastern states or adjoining eastern area. But this year it was not the case like that. Of course, eastern area got less rainfall and northeastern get less rainfall, but instead of getting good rainfall activity. So it was just opposite. Even though it was El Nino year, the composite says that you should have you should have good rainfall activity over northeastern states and adjoining eastern India like against West Bengal, some parts of Bihar and Jharkhand. But this year it did not happen. Against West Bengal, Bihar, Jharkhand got deficient rainfall activity, and also northeastern states also got deficient rainfall activity for the especially not all northern states, Nagaland, Mizoram, Tripura got deficient rainfall activity. Now, if I look at, so what I want to say from this left-hand diagram, that El Nino is not the only factor that has improved this year, that it can be countered by many other factors. So therefore, we need not be worried always if there is an El Nino. Then the right-hand side is the composite for all the positive IOD years. If you look at all positive IOD years, what you find that the central India and west coast get very good rainfall activity during the positive IOD years. And this year, the positive IOD became most prevalent during the month of September. In the month of August, month of July, or month of June, it was neutral IOD conditions. So therefore, month of September, I will show if you might have seen previously also, you will see that month of September was very good rainfall activity, and central India got maximum rainfall activity on the left-hand side, you can just see. So here also it demonstrates the role of IOD, or Indian dipole, in the month of September, leading to higher rainfall activity in the central India and west coast. Now let us look at the role of Mrutyunjay oscillation. If I look at the Mrutyunjay oscillation, left-hand side diagram is a phase diagram which shows how the Mrutyunjay oscillation propagates from the coast of Eastern Africa across equatorial Indian Ocean, then maritime continent like Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, etc. Then it goes to West Equatorial Pacific, East Equatorial Pacific, then it goes to Western Hemisphere, America, and Western Africa, then again comes. So to travel like this, the Mrutyunjay oscillation takes 30 to 60 days. That means there is a cycle of the Mrutyunjay oscillation type of wave moving from west to east, and the entire cycle takes about 30 days to 60 days. If it takes 30 days, then 15 days will have good activity and 15 days will have less activity of rainfall in our region. If it has 60 days, then 30 days you will have good rainfall, and next 30 days you will have bad rainfall activity. Now you can just look at this year. June was deficient, July became excess, August became deficient, September became excess. So it shows that there was some kind of periodicity of 30 days plus 30 days of 60 days. And if I look at this Mrutyunjay oscillation locations, these diagrams are shown here, you will find that MJ was favorable in the month of July and the month of September. So what I want to say that MJO showed some kind of 60 days oscillation being active over Indian region in the month of July and September. And this is one of the most important reasons which countered the impact of the El Nino, and we could get good rainfall activity along with the positive impact of the positive IOD. And third one, which played the role, is the number of low pressure systems which developed in the month of July and September. Now, just to illustrate the impact of MJO, on the right-hand side, I put up two diagrams. The left-hand side is the rainfall anomaly composite for the Mrutyunjay oscillation being active in the phase 1 and 8. Phase 1 and 8 means it is the Western Hemisphere and Africa. If Mrutyunjay oscillation is active in Western Hemisphere and Africa, not in Indian Ocean, then our rainfall activity decreases. You can just find here, rainfall increases only along the foothills of the Himalayas, and rainfall decreases entire remaining parts of the country. But if MJO is active in phase 3 and 4. Phase 3 corresponds to Bay of Bengal. You can see here, East Equatorial Indian Ocean. This phase 3, this corresponds to East Equatorial Indian Ocean, that is adjacent to Bay of Bengal. This phase 2 is the West Equatorial Indian Ocean, that is adjacent to Arabian Sea. Then phase 4 and 5, this is the South China Sea Equatorial Indian Ocean, Equatorial Pacific Ocean, West Equatorial Pacific Ocean. You can see here. Then 6, 7 goes to East Equatorial Pacific. So what you find here actually in September, it was phase 3 and 4, and July it was phase 2 and 3. So what I want to say that in July also it was in favorable conditions. What I want to say that this pink color, if you just look at which corresponds to July, you can find that it is in June 2 or 3 or 4. 5, even if its amplitude is less, it was in 2, 3, 4, 5. If I look at September with blue color, you can find that it was in phase 3 and 4. That means East Equatorial Indian Ocean and maritime continent with higher amplitude also. Amplitude was more. So that means wave was quite active. So July and September, you can find this type of behavior. But I mean June actually, in the beginning of June, it was in phase 2, which helped in development of the cyclone Biparjoy and also development of the advance of monsoon over southern parts of the Bengal, Arabian Sea, and Kerala. But afterwards, again, it became inactive and it could not help in further advance of monsoon. So MJ is one of the most important factors which contributed to the monsoon rainfall during 2023. Now let us look at what happened to the very heavy rainfall activity. If we look at very heavy rainfall activity for the season, that means it is 12 centimeter to 20 centimeter. What you find here actually, most of the activity was over the central parts of the country. You just look at all these dots, and the blue dots are from July, and orange dots are from the September. So you can find that it was dominated by blue and orange dots. That means most of the very heavy rainfall activity occurred in July and September. In the month of August, which are red colors, you can find that it was dominating to some extent in eastern parts of the country and along the foothills of the Himalayas because it was poor monsoon conditions. I need not mention here what happened in the month of August in Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand also from July. Then in June, if you just look at it, was more or less confined to the west central India because of the cyclone Mrutyunjay, which caused the very intense rainfall activity. On the right hand side, this is the extremely heavy rainfall activity, that means rainfall exceeding 20 centimeter, that is 21 centimeter and more. So what you find that, yes, again, here central part of the country got good rainfall activity in especially the August and September, and here July also, it was peninsular India, which got good rainfall activity along the west coast. And of course, the northwest Himalayan region, Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, along with northern parts of Haryana. Now let us look at the disastrous weather events in the monsoon season. If we just look at the country experienced floods in many parts, but flood was not so severe in the plains of the country except in Assam and Meghalaya and Arunachal Pradesh and northwest hill areas, that is Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand. There was flooding, and that flooding resulted in flooding in Yamuna. Also, Delhi was flooded for a quite long time, and historical flood was created after 1978 in the state of Delhi. Now, let us look at, apart from flooding, as it is demonstrated here in the light blue color, you also have some kind of conditions like heat wave conditions in the month of June. If you remember, in the eastern parts of the country, especially Bihar, Jharkhand, East UP, Odisha, and Chhattisgarh, which experienced heat wave conditions. And lightning was a major factor also. It occurred in the convective activity, thunderstorms, etc. And one cyclone developed, that Biparjoy, which affected the western parts of the country. Now, let us look at the number of deaths. If we just look at, yes, floods and heavy rainfall, there was 544 deaths. Of course, this is a media report. It is not authenticated. I will not quote here. All of you should not quote it. Please follow the numbers given by the state authorities and the central authorities. Those are responsible for this. Now, I will just touch upon what happened. There was extreme heavy rainfall activity, some extreme heavy rainfall activity. I'll just touch upon that is Himachal Pradesh activity. If you remember, during the monsoon season, it occurred especially in two major intense heavy rainfall spells. One was the 6th to 15 July, which affected Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, but Himachal Pradesh was worst affected. And basically on 9 July, it was worst, and that 9 July rainfall led to also unprecedented rainfall activity in Jamuna, and landslides, mudslides occurred for the entire state. Then again, the second spell was 10 to 15 August, but picked up in 14 August. We have discussed this issue on earlier monthly press release, but still I'm just touching upon to remember those worst cases. Now, incidents of cloudburst, yes, it occurred in Himachal Pradesh, and we could find that mini cloudbursts occurred in certain areas like 5 centimeter over Shahpur in Kangra district, which caused a lot of havoc and damages in the state of Himachal Pradesh. Now, if you look at, this is just an example I was shown earlier, how much was the rainfall variations and what are the extremes. Many records were also broken in the state of Himachal Pradesh. So this is the record-breaking rainfall activity which occurred in Manali, Solan, Ruru, Gomrur, Achar, Nadau, and Kelam. Similarly, also there was certain record-breaking activity in Chandigarh and Haryana. Now, what was the role of mid-latitude western disturbances? Whenever mid-latitude western disturbances appear during monsoon season, they interact with monsoon circulation and lead to havoc, especially in the northwest India. I'll name Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, and Uttarakhand. And that happened this year also, especially in the month of July and August. In the month of June, 4 western disturbances passed over North India, which also impacted parts of central India. In the month of July, there were 4 western disturbances which affected North India. And the most important effect, if you remember, it was 5 to 11 July. Then August, it was 6 western disturbances because monsoon was weak. So western disturbances were more in number. And there were 26 days of western disturbances prevailing over northern India against normal of 2 to 3 western disturbances in the month. In September, 2 western disturbances occurred and their impact was subdued. So therefore, I would say that these western disturbances in the month of July was most disastrous, followed by another in the second week of August, which was also most disastrous western disturbance. Now, exceptionally heavy rainfall occurred during the season, especially during that spell, if I remember, 9 July. There was exceptionally heavy rainfall over Chandigarh, that is in Haryana, and adjoining Haryana also. In Himachal Pradesh also there was exceptionally heavy rainfall. Then again, 18 July, Saurashtra's Sutrapada, that is in district of Gir Somarnath, reported 54 centimeter rainfall, and Verawal reported also 52 centimeter of rainfall. So you can just imagine, and action was taken based on the early warning, and people are saved. 736 people are evacuated, 358 were rescued, and 12 highways were shot during that period. On 20 July, similarly, the Konkan Raigad reported 40 centimeter rainfall. It led to landslides. On 27 July, Telangana, Lakshmi Devi Peta reported 65 centimeter. You can imagine. So this type of extreme heavy rainfall record has been reported during monsoon season. It was followed by Chitial, 62 centimeter, Regonda, 47 centimeter, Ghanpur, it is in Bhopal district, 46 centimeter. Like that, it caused the heavy rainfall. This type of exceptional heavy rainfall led to the floods in Telangana. If you remember, one village was completely submerged, and army helped and rescued the villagers by helicopter. In 16 to 17 September, Southwest Madhya Pradesh reported rainfall on 16, that is Bhimpur, 45 centimeter. And Southeast Rajasthan on 17 September, Kathiawada reported 34 centimeter, and Megnagar reported 32 centimeters. So like that, there has been exceptionally heavy rainfall in July and September, especially. Now, this is the location of heavy rainfall event in September, especially if you just look at the central India, as I was telling you, got maximum amount of the heavy rainfall events. If I compare for the past 5 years, 2019, 2021, 2023, so in 2023 events in September, there are 85 extremely heavy rainfall events. If I compare that, it was next to 2021 when there was 97 extremely heavy rainfall events. But if you consider the heavy rainfall events only, then it was not a good high number. In 2019, it was 551 cases. Now this year, it was 377 cases of heavy rainfall in September. Now, let us, I will now summarize what happened actually good rainfall activity in September. Actually, it was a positive IOD, Indian Ocean Dipole, which started the last week of August, continued in the month of September with increasing amplitude, and it compensated the negative impact of El Nino conditions over Pacific Ocean. Also, there were 5 low pressure systems developed during September. Mrutyunjay oscillation was in favorable phase. As I told you, it was in phase 3-4, which corresponds to East Equatorial Indian Ocean adjacent to Bay of Bengal and the maritime continent. That helped in increasing convective activity. Also, it helped in formation of low pressure systems in the month of September, and hence the good rainfall activity. Now, let us look at the entire season. If I just look at what you find that it is written June, July, June to September. Sorry, actually. So LPS during June to September 2023. So if we just look at the total 15 number of low pressure systems developed during monsoon season. So these 15 numbers, if you just distribution in June, it was 3, July 5, August 2, September 5, and total therefore 15. The total number of low pressure system days of occurrence, if I just look at Indian region, it was 27 in June, 12 in July, 10 in August, and 16 in September. So in total, it was 65. So what you find actually that number of days of low pressure was 65 against number of 55. Number of total low pressure systems was 15 against number of 13. So that means these low pressure systems was above normal this year, and their total occurrence was also above normal this year. And this could counter the adverse impact of the El Nino over the region. Now let's look at the forecast, what we told. The first forecast we issued on 11th April, that is the first stage of monsoon rainfall for the country as a whole, we issued. At that time, we told that El Nino conditions likely during monsoon season. This was the forecast. Then we told that positive IOD conditions are likely to develop during the southeast monsoon season. Then we further stated that Eurasian snow cover has been less during December to February, which will favor monsoon over India. The conditions also will counter the adverse impact of El Nino. These were the statements, and accordingly, the rainfall figure was given as 96% plus minus 5%. It was also told in that press conference, that monsoon would get impacted in second half of the season, not likely in the first half of the season. That means there is also the prediction that second half of the season will be adversely impacted and not in the first half. And the second update of the forecast was issued on 26th of May, when we again reiterated that El Nino conditions will be there in the upcoming monsoon season. We also told that positive IOD will develop during monsoon season. We also told that the forecast, same forecast, that rainfall will be 96% plus minus 4%. Now, observation, what happened actually at the end of the season, if you just look at weak El Nino conditions developed in July and became moderate El Nino conditions in August and September. Indian monsoon dipole remained neutral till third week of August and became positive thereafter. And rainfall has been 94.4% of the long period average. So what I want to say is that the overall picture of the rainfall activity, overall picture of the monsoon circulation, overall picture of the large scale processes like El Nino, IOD could be predicted reasonably. Now let us look at the third stage forecast that was issued on 31st July. In that forecast, we told that weak El Nino conditions are prevailing over equatorial Pacific region. The El Nino conditions are likely to intensify further and continue up to early next year. And neutral IOD conditions are prevailing, and positive IOD conditions are likely to develop during the remaining parts of the monsoon season. And rainfall to be normal, but on the negative side of the normal, we told August, September. And we did not change the forecast for the entire period. I was asked, I told no, we are not changing the forecast. And forecast continued for 96 plus minus 4. And but for the August, September, we told 94 to 9, that's negative side of the normal. And observe summary of the monsoon rainfall. If you just look at weak El Nino conditions developed in July and August and September, it became moderate. So IOD, as I was telling it, became positive from last week of August and continued in September. The first half of monsoon season 2023 got more rainfall, that is 10% above normal, and it was below normal rainfall during second half. It was 17% below normal. So what I want to say that yes, we could predict that it will be on the negative side of the normal, but still it was a little more negative, and that more negativity was mainly because of the rainfall activity, adverse rainfall activity in August. Now let's look at the forecast for each individual month. For the month of June, we told the rainfall to be below normal, that is less than 92% of long period average, and realized rainfall was 91% of the long period average. In July, we told that rainfall to be normal, but on positive side of the normal, that is 100 to 106% of LPA, but it resulted in a little higher and became above normal, that is 113% of long period average. In the month of August, we told that rainfall to be below normal, that is less than 91% of LPA, and it became 64%. It became highly departed from the forecast, and it was one of the records created for the month of August this year. It was the lowest rainfall since 1901. It was 36% deficient. In September, rainfall to be normal, we told, that is 91%, 109%. However, external forecast, we indicated that it will be good rainfall activity in September. We also predicted that there will be low pressure systems, one after another, during the September, leading to good rainfall activity in Central and South India. And finally, we got 113% of the long period average. So August to September, as I was telling a little earlier, we told it will be negative side of the below normal, that is 99%, but it became 83%, sorry, it is 83% of long period average. Now let us look at and the forecast, that is the spatial pattern. What is the spatial pattern forecast and what happened finally? And on the left-hand side is the first stage forecast. This is the first stage forecast. And down here is the second stage forecast. This is on 26th of May. This is 11th April. This is 26th of May. And this is the actual rainfall, what has happened in the category-wise. That's above normal, normal, and below normal. On the down, it is the district-wise rainfall activity. So what you see here that the prediction was that in the second stage of forecast, we look at this area, East UP, northern parts of Bihar, Delta West Bengal, some parts of southern West Bengal will have less rainfall activity. And here it could. But the central India, if we just look at, it was climatological, that means normal rainfall activity in many parts. In some parts, it was above normal rainfall activity, and also in peninsular India. So, I would say that it is not perfectly matching with the forecast and the distribution, but reasonably it could give out the fact that yes, there could be the rainfall activity good, good to access, you can say, in the central parts of the country and many parts of the central India and many parts of the South India. Now let us look at the month-wise. On the left-hand side is the month of June. I'm just repeating, I have already shown earlier. Month of June, it is the forecast. This is and the actual. And this is the month of July. This is the forecast. Right-hand side is the actual. And this is the month of August. This is the forecast. And this is the actual. Month of September, this is the forecast. And this is the actual. So what I find that we could predict very well to a large extent in the month of June, July, and August, the special pattern. But in the month of September, the special pattern could not be predicted well. The special pattern in the month of September indicated that very good rainfall activity in the central parts of the country, and the rainfall activity was less in the subdivisions adjacent to foothills of the Himalayas. But in the forecast, it was not so predicted. It was predicting just like dipolar behavior with the western part and eastern part, but that did not happen. It could predict good rainfall activity in the eastern parts of the country like East Central India, but the good rainfall activity over the western parts, West Central India, could not be predicted. So I would say that it could be predicted very well in June, July, August, but not in September. Now this is especially for the September. I just want to say the same thing once more. I'm just looking at that. Yes, it was not so accurate forecast for the month of September as far as spatial distribution is concerned. Now let's look at the El Nino conditions. The latest weekly sea surface temperatures departure, if you just look at the equatorial Pacific, Niño 3.4 is 1.7 degrees Celsius. So if you just do a simply week, it will say that it is the strong El Nino conditions. But we have to take into consideration monthly average or 3 monthly average, and accordingly the moderate El Nino conditions are prevailing over the equatorial Pacific. So in the Western Indian Ocean and across the much of the Atlantic, also sea surface temperatures are quite high. You can see here in the Western Indian Ocean also. Now let us look at the forecast. So if we just look at various types of forecast, you can see here all these red bars are the El Nino conditions. It's telling that El Nino conditions should continue till early part of the year. The very high probability. Gradually it is decreasing from February, March, April, it is decreasing, but still it is quite high. So El Nino is favored through Northern Hemisphere winter 2023 to 2024, with chances exceeding 95% through January to March 2024. That means up to March 2024, we can have the El Nino conditions. Now, probabilistic and so model forecast with September initial conditions also you will see it's also showing that yes, it will be an El Nino conditions. The majority of the models, if you just look at here in the third diagram, the majority of models indicate El Nino will persist through the Northern Hemisphere till the spring 2024. Now let us look at Indian Ocean dipole. If you look at the Indian Ocean dipole, you find that all are showing the positive, highly positive values. All the models are suggesting it is positive. That means positive Indian Ocean dipole will continue in the upcoming months. So if you just look at here, October, December, this is the positive. Red bar is positive IOD conditions. It is continuing November, December, January. For December, January, February, it is showing that it will reduce. It will become zero. That means neutral IOD conditions will be dominant during December, January, February. So what I want to say that we can expect till end of this year, that is October, November, December, to have the positive Indian Ocean dipole along with the moderate to strong El Nino conditions. Now let us look at to some extent what is the performance of our extended range. Every Thursday we issue extended range forecast. As I was telling little earlier, the rainfall activity was quite good in month of July and month of September, and there was subdued activity in month of June and the month of August. Whether this could be picked up by extended range forecast, the forecast is issued every Thursday for next 4 weeks or 2 weeks. Let us look at that. This is the case for all India, and down, this is the case of the central India. This is monsoon core zone, you can say, it's a similar behavior. And this is the verification. We issue the forecast to week 1, week 2, and week 3, and week 4. And what you find actually here, the black line, this is the black line. This is the all India rainfall departure. All India rainfall departure. So black line indicates that it was negative departure. That means it is below normal rainfall activity predicted for the week 2 to 8 June, 9 to 15 June. And these bars in 4 different colors, what you find, this is for week 1, then week 2, week 3, and week 4. You will find that even up to week 4, it was indicating that 4 weeks in advance, it was indicating that it will be on the negative side this week. Similarly, for the second week, also it was indicating that it will be on the negative side. So on the third week, we just look at it will be near normal. So what I want to say that the extended range forecast issued during this deficient June was quite all right. Up to 4 weeks, there was a signal, but up to 2 weeks, signal was quite clear. There is week 1 and week 2, that is 15 days in advance. It is a very clear signal. But up to 4 weeks also, there was some signal that rainfall will be deficient in the first week, second week, third week, it will be near normal. Fourth week, when it increased gradually, it was also on the positive side. Bar went to positive side. Fifth week, also it went positive side. Sixth week, it continued like that. Then again, in the month of August, July, it's picked up, rainfall picked up. It was going on the positive side. In the month of August, when rainfall was less, that also could be predicted 4 weeks in advance. The rainfall will be on the negative side. It will not be on the positive side. Again, in the month of September, when rainfall picked up, that also could be predicted well by the extended range forecast. So what I want to say that in the seamless forecast system, what IMD has introduced, the seasonal forecast is being followed up by the extended range forecast, and extended range forecast has a very good accuracy or reasonably accurate forecast can be provided at least up to 2 weeks through the system. Now let us look at for central India. Same is the case. You can find out that central India rainfall was quite less in August, and it was indicating below normal rainfall activity. In the month of July, it was showing above normal rainfall activity. In the month of September, it was showing above normal rainfall activity. In the month of June, it was showing below normal rainfall activity. So that means it could predict not only for a country as a whole, but also for the central India, which is a very important region in terms of the rainfed area. Now let us look at what is the forecast. Now we are issuing the forecast for post-monsoon season 2023. On the left-hand side, this is the forecast map, spatial distribution of the rainfall probability. The yellow, orange, red indicates below normal rainfall. Green indicates normal rainfall. Blue, deep blue indicates the above normal rainfall activity. So as for this multimodal ensemble forecasting system, which considers the best models, high best models, and prepares this forecast by our Central Research and Services Division, Pune, you will find that it is indicating that the South Peninsula, if I just look at South Peninsula, the South Peninsula I am talking fast because the Northeast monsoon season or post-monsoon season is dominantly prevalent in terms of rainfall over the Southeast Peninsula. That covers actually Andhra Pradesh, coastal Andhra Pradesh, Rayalaseema, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Puducherry, and South Inter Karnataka. And here, the rainfall which we are expecting South Peninsula, that is 88 to 112% of the long period average. The 88 to 112% of the long period average. That means long period average is 334.13 millimeter for the Southeast Peninsula, and rainfall this year will be 88 to 112%. Normal to above normal rainfall is likely for many areas of Northwest India, even the sea, Northwest India, and South Peninsular India. Northeast India, East Central India, adjoining areas, and some areas of Northwest India are likely to receive below normal rainfall. So this area, which has got less rainfall activity during monsoon, is also expected to get less rainfall activity during the post-monsoon season. Otherwise, remaining parts will have climatological or normal to above normal rainfall activity. So what I want to say that here also, if you just look at, even if we have given the trend 88 to 112%, finally, if I calculate and look at this figure, we can say that it could be on the positive side of the normal. Now, rainfall average over the country as a whole, if you just look at rainfall average for the country as a whole for the month of October, then it is likely to be normal again, 85 to 115%. So just to avoid confusion, I'll just go back to the previous slide. So this is the forecast for October to December. And October to December forecast, we have given that it will be normal, 88 to 112%. So for the country as a whole also, it will be normal, but it will be on the positive side. If we look at the shading here, many areas have the shading of blue and green, also white. But if I look at October, if I just look at, you can find that more areas here have the yellow. That means October in this part will not have much rainfall activity, Central India and Northwest India, but there will be good rainfall activity over the Northeast India and the Peninsular India. The forecast says that rainfall average of the country as a whole during October 2023 is most likely to be normal, that is 85 to 115% of the long period average. The long period average for the country as a whole during October is 75.4 millimeters. And most parts of India are likely to receive below normal rainfall activity in October. So many parts of South Peninsular India, Northeast India, a few pockets in the northernmost region are likely to experience above normal rainfall activity. The white shaded areas indicates the land area, in the land area indicates the climatological quality. So I'll just again show the previous one. If we just look at the previous one, yes, you are expecting South Peninsula to have good rainfall activity. That is on the positive side of the normal, you can expect country as a whole. But if you look at month of October, the rainfall activity is less comparatively, but still it can come under the normal category because rainfall over Central and Northeast India for the month of October usually is less. That is shown in the dotted line here. The dots indicates that normal is quite less here. Therefore, when you consider this forecast, you also consider the variability. Less than normal, higher is the variability of rainfall activity, and hence there could be more uncertainty in the forecast. Now let us look at the maximum temperature. Since rainfall is expected less, therefore the maximum temperature is also expected to be more in the country. This is the forecast for October only, not for October, December. So October forecast indicates that both maximum temperature and minimum temperature are expected to be above normal in many parts of the country. मैं आपको अभी हिंदी में जानकारी दूंगा कि अक्टूबर से दिसंबर तक जो पीरियड है इसमें वर्षा की संभावना क्या हो सकता है। अक्टूबर से दिसंबर 2023 की वर्षा दक्षिण प्रायद्वीप भारत में औसतन सामान्य रहने का संभावना है, यानी 88 to 112% लॉन्ग पीरियड अवधि दीर्घावधि औसत का 88 to 112% होने का संभावना है। 1971 से 2020 तक जो आंकड़ा है इसके आधारित आप देखेंगे दक्षिण प्रायद्वीप का जो एरिया है इसका औसत होता है 334.13 मिलीमीटर। दक्षिण प्रायद्वीपीय भारत के अधिकतर भागों में सामान्य से लेकर सामान्य से अधिक वर्षा की संभावना यह संकेत देता है। हालांकि पूर्वोत्तर भारत के अधिकांश हिस्सों, पूर्व मध्य भारत, आसपास के क्षेत्रों और प्रायद्वीप भारत के कई क्षेत्रों में सामान्य से कम बारिश होने की संभावना है। अक्टूबर से दिसंबर के मौसम के दौरान मानचित्र में दिखाए गए बिंदीदार डॉटेड क्षेत्र का जलवायु विज्ञान के अनुसार बहुत कम वर्षा होता है और